Imagine for a moment that your mind is like a fertile field, and every day, without realizing it, you're planting seeds. Some are of fear, doubt, scarcity, others of faith, confidence, and purpose. The big question is, do you know what you're cultivating? And more importantly, what do you want to harvest? Perhaps you haven't noticed yet, but the wealthiest people in the world didn't start with money. They started with an idea, with a mental state so powerful that it could transform obstacles into opportunities, failures into learning, and scarcity into abundance. This is the true millionaire mind. And today I invite you to dive into one of the most profound and transformative teachings ever written about prosperity, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. This book is not just a manual on wealth. It's a key to accessing the most powerful part of you, your mind. Hill spent over 25 years studying the richest men in history, like Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford, and Thomas Edison, and discovered something surprising: the difference between those who live in poverty and those who achieve abundance isn't talent or luck. It's the way of thinking. And here's the question that can change everything. Are you thinking like a millionaire, or merely surviving as someone programmed for scarcity? Perhaps you're working hard every day, doing everything right, and still feeling stuck, stagnant, as if prosperity is always something distant, unattainable. But Napoleon Hill shows us that wealth is a consequence, a direct consequence of how you think, feel, and believe. Let's return to the metaphor of the field. If you sow ideas of failure, you'll reap limitations. But if you plant thoughts of power, wealth, confidence, soon you'll begin to harvest opportunities, open doors, synchronicities, which the world calls luck, but you'll know are fruits of your renewed mind. Today, in this video, you will discover how to build the true millionaire mindset, how to use the power of your mind to attract wealth, and what are the 13 principles that have transformed lives, businesses, and destinies. This is not just another motivational video. It's a call, a key, and a decision. Because if you change your mind, you change everything. And before we begin, answer in the comments, what is the biggest block you feel today regarding wealth? Your answer may reveal much more than you imagine. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. This ancient statement from the scriptures echoes exactly what Napoleon Hill dedicated decades of his life to prove. You are what you think, not what you have, not what others say about you. It's what you deeply believe about yourself in silence when no one is watching. Hill teaches that everything starts with a burning desire. But it's not just any desire. It's a desire that consumes, that moves, that vibrates so strongly within you that it transforms into faith, into action, into realization. And to show you this practically, I want to take you to one of the most powerful stories in the Bible, a story that reveals the exact moment when an ordinary man with a burning desire and unshakable faith becomes king. We're talking about David. David wasn't the strongest. He wasn't the most prepared. He wasn't the oldest, nor the one chosen by human criteria, but there was something inside him that made him different. David carried an inner vision that didn't match the place where he was. While his brothers were in the army, David tended the sheep. While the soldiers feared Goliath, David believed he could defeat him. And what made this difference? His mind was already aligned with a greater purpose. Just as Hill says in the first principle of success, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. David conceived that he would defeat Goliath. He believed, and he acted even, in the face of scorn, even with everyone doubting. That stone that struck down the giant was launched long before inside David's mind. He had already won before stepping onto the battlefield. Now think How many times have you retreated before your own Goliath? How many ideas have you abandoned because someone said it was too hard, too bold, too big for you? But Hill and the Bible show us that external results only change when the mind changes first. The millionaire mind begins with that burning desire. It's the inner fire that transforms a vision into reality. It's the flame that withstands the winds of doubt, criticism, and even temporary defeats. Napoleon Hill invites us to write that desire clearly. It's not just dreaming, it's defining, it's visualizing, it's repeating, it's feeding that image every day until it becomes an unshakable conviction. And here's a powerful affirmation for you to repeat aloud right now. I nurture a burning desire for prosperity. I believe I was born to win, and every day my mind aligns with my purpose of abundance. And if you truly want to take the first step to awaken this millionaire mind within you, here's a simple and powerful task. Write now on a sheet of paper what your true financial desire is. Not the desire of scarcity, not the desire of fear, but the desire of your soul, the one that vibrates when you close your eyes and imagine a free, full, abundant life. Then keep that paper where you can read it every day. Read it with faith, read it with emotion. And remember, David defeated with a stone, you will win with a decision. Comment below, what is your Goliath today? Naming your challenge is the first step to overcoming it. There is an essential principle in the journey to develop a millionaire mind that Napoleon Hill emphasizes in his book, Think and Grow Rich. This principle is, faith is the state of mind that may be induced or created by affirmation or repeated instructions to the subconscious mind. In other words, you can train your mind to believe. You can feed your faith every day, even when circumstances say otherwise. And this brings me to one of the most moving passages in the Bible, a story of courage, faith, and overcoming. The story of a forgotten woman, rejected and tired of suffering, the woman with the issue of blood. She had been suffering for 12 years, spent all she had on doctors. She was weak, hopeless in the eyes of the world, but inside her, a thought began to form, a phrase, an idea, something she repeated to herself like a silent prayer. If I just touch his garments, I will be healed. She had no proof, no guarantees, but she had faith. And that faith was fed by what Napoleon Hill calls auto-suggestion, the practice of repeating, visualizing, feeling as if it were already real. Notice the similarity. Napoleon Hill says that faith is born from the repetition of positive, affirmative, and powerful thoughts. And the Bible shows a woman who, by repeating her conviction within herself, transforms the impossible into a miracle. She pushed through the crowd, defied culture, fear, pain, and when she touched Jesus, power flowed. Jesus felt it, stopped, and said, "Your faith has healed you." See the depth of this. It wasn't the physical touch. It wasn't just Jesus' presence. It was her mind, her inner faith, the unshakable conviction generated by a phrase she nurtured. This is the essence of autosuggestion. Repeat with emotion, visualize with faith, affirm with authority. And here's a practice you can start today to activate this same power in your life. Choose a powerful affirmation, something that reflects your deepest desire, and repeat it every day, morning and night. Say it with emotion. Feel as if it's already real. For example, I am prosperous. I am guided by divine intelligence. Everything I need to grow and prosper is already within me. This may seem simple, even silly to many. But what is simple, when done with faith, changes destinies. Napoleon Hill proved this with hundreds of real stories. And the Bible shows us that the same principle has worked for millennia. Here's your practical task for today. Write your own affirmation of faith. Simple, direct, and powerful. Engrave this phrase in your mind as the woman with the issue of blood did. What will be the phrase that will heal you from fear? What will be the phrase that will free you from scarcity? Share in the comments. What is the affirmation you will use to train your millionaire mind? Who knows, your word might inspire someone who needs strength today. Now that we've talked about the burning desire and faith guided by affirmations, there's a principle that connects the two as a powerful bridge. Persistence. Napoleon Hill wrote, "In clear terms, most people are ready to throw their aims and purposes overboard and give up at the first sign of opposition or misfortune. But those who possess a millionaire mind persist until they achieve what they desire." Persistence is continuing even when results haven't appeared yet. It's moving forward even without applause, without guarantees, without external support. It's knowing that what you desire is already approaching, and your role is to stay on the path. Jesus told a parable that illustrates this principle clearly and impactfully. The story of a widow who wouldn't give up. She sought a judge to ask for justice, but this judge was described as godless, arrogant, and indifferent. He didn't fear God nor respect men. Even so, this woman returned every day with the same request, insisted, knocked on the same door, spoke with the same authority until the judge got tired and said, "Even though I don't fear God or care what people think, yet because this widow keeps bothering me, I will see that she gets justice." This is the power of persistence. It breaks resistance, knocks down barriers, opens doors that seemed locked. Jesus concludes the parable by saying, "And will not God bring about justice for his chosen ones who cry out to